In the world of intelligence, the most formidable fortresses are not built from concrete or steel. They are built from the collective vigilance of human beings. Every security system has a single point of failure that no firewall can patch. That weakness is the human element, the most vulnerable link in the chain. For decades, spies have bypassed the most advanced hardware by hacking the wetware of the mind. This is the art of social engineering, an invisible infiltration technique. It is the subtle art of getting what you want without ever pulling a trigger. It is a psychological game played in the shadows of everyday life. Our brains are wired for survival, governed by ancient centers like the amygdala that react instantly to fear, authority, and perceived social obligations in our environment. By understanding these biological triggers, an operative can bypass logic and speak directly to the target's subconscious, forcing a desired reaction without any conscious thought. A master infiltrator does not look like a criminal. They look like someone who belongs, radiating an aura of calm that masks a lethal, calculated purpose. While the world rushes by in chaos, the operative remains the eye of the storm, observing the subtle cracks in the social fabric of the target. To them, a human guard is just another lock to be picked. But instead of tools, they use words, gestures, and the powerful science of psychology. The first step is pretexting. This is not just a simple lie. It is the creation of an entirely new reality that the target will accept. An operative spends weeks building a legend. Every detail, from their childhood home to their favorite coffee blend, is meticulously crafted and memorized for the mission. Pretexting is the art of deception, where the lie becomes the truth. It is the foundation upon which every successful human infiltration is built and executed. They learn the names of the target's children, their hobbies, and even the logos of the partner companies they trust. Knowledge is the ultimate tool for infiltration. These fragments of information are woven into a narrative that feels familiar. When the spy speaks, the target hears a voice that sounds like it belongs. A spy does not merely play the role of a repairman, they become the repairman. They embody the identity so completely that no one thinks to question. The secret lies in the walk, the posture, and the subtle cues of someone who has a job to do and is supposed to be there. Confidence acts as a universal key. If you act like you belong in a restricted area, most people will assume that you actually do have permission. The goal is to be visible, yet invisible. You want to be seen as a legitimate part of the environment, blending into the background of daily routines. Pretexting allows the operative to move through layers of security that would stop a commando team. It is the path of least resistance through human nature. By the time they reach their objective, the target has already welcomed them inside. The door was open from the inside out of simple social habit. Every interaction is a test of the pretext. One wrong detail can collapse the illusion, so the operative must remain in character at all times, always. The art of becoming is the ultimate disguise. It is the most powerful weapon in the spy's arsenal, allowing them to hide in plain, open sight. Beyond the disguise, spies leverage core psychological principles. The first is authority. We are trained from birth to follow orders from those in higher positions. A crisp uniform or a tailored suit can silence the critical thinking of a guard. The symbols of power demand respect and immediate, unquestioning compliance from others. When an operative speaks with the weight of authority, they trigger a submissive response in the target, making them less likely to ask for identification. The guard's brain processes the cues of status and concludes that questioning this person might lead to trouble with their own superiors in the company hierarchy. The second principle is reciprocity. This is the deep-seated human need to return a favor, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant that favor may be. A spy might offer a cup of coffee or help a guard with a stuck door. This creates a psychological debt that the target feels obligated. This anchor of debt makes it much harder for the guard to say no later when the spy asks for a small, rule-breaking favor in return. Operators are trained to read micro-expressions. They look for the exact moment the target's guard drops, signaling that the psychological hook has been set deep. By combining authority and reciprocity, the spy creates a social environment where compliance is the most natural and comfortable path for the target to take. It is a delicate dance of social cues. The spy leads and the target follows, unaware that they are being guided toward a security breach. The spy is not an enemy in the target's eyes. They are a colleague, a boss, or a helpful friend. This is the ultimate manipulation. Each small agreement builds momentum. By the time the spy asks for entry into a restricted zone, the target has already said yes multiple times. The psychological barriers have been dismantled. The spy enters the most secure areas of the facility not by force, but by invitation and social engineering. When logic fails, spies use time. Urgency is a powerful psychological tool that shuts down the brain's ability to think critically or analyze a situation. By creating a fake crisis, the operative forces the target to make a split-second decision. In a rush, people tend to overlook protocol and rules. The pressure of a ticking clock creates a tunnel vision effect. The target focuses only on solving the immediate problem, ignoring the security risks involved. I need to get in there now, or the whole network will crash. This kind of high-pressure demand leaves the guard no time for verification. The guard's brain enters a state of high arousal. They feel the weight of the potential disaster and the social pressure to be the one who helped. In this state, the analytical mind is bypassed. The target shifts from a thinking mode to a reactive mode, where they are much easier to manipulate. The spy mirrors the target's rising anxiety, making the situation feel even more real and dire. It is a shared psychological hallucination designed for the mission. Under the cover of urgency, the spy can perform tasks that would otherwise be highly suspicious. The guard is just happy the crisis is being handled. Time pressure is the ultimate distractor. It creates a psychological fog that masks the operative's true intentions while they work right in front of the target. The moment the pressure is released, the operative must disappear before the target's logic has a chance to catch up and realize what just happened. In the aftermath of an urgency-based attack, the victim often feels a sense of relief, never suspecting they have just been the key to a breach. The crisis was a ghost, a carefully constructed illusion that vanished the moment it served its purpose. Only the stolen data remains as evidence of entry. When time is a weapon, the fastest mind always wins. In the battle between protocol and panic, panic is a reliable ally for the trained spy. Let's look at a real-world example. In 1985, a CIA operative was tasked with infiltrating a highly secure data facility located deep within East Berlin. The target was a fortress of the Cold War. It was protected by armed guards, multiple badge checkpoints, and a culture of extreme paranoia and suspicion. Traditional methods of entry were impossible. The locks were too complex, and the guards were too well trained. The agency needed a different approach, a psychological one. The operative spent days watching. He noticed a simple human habit. Employees would often hold the door open for their colleagues during the busy morning rush. This is a technique called piggybacking. It relies on the social awkwardness of closing a door in someone's face, especially if they look like they belong. The spy didn't carry a weapon. He carried 2 large bags of burgers and fries. He looked like a man who had his hands completely full. He timed his arrival perfectly. As he reached the heavy security door, he fumbled with the bags, making it obvious he couldn't reach his own badge. A helpful employee, acting out of simple courtesy, held the door open for him. The operative walked right past the armed guards without ever showing ID. To the guards, he was just the food guy. To the employees, he was a colleague bringing lunch. No one checked his face or his credentials. He looked like he belonged there. He moved with the quiet confidence of someone who had walked these halls 1,000 times before. He was invisible. The most secure building in East Berlin was breached not with explosives, but with 2 bags of burgers and the innate politeness of the human spirit. The information he stole changed the course of the intelligence war, and it all happened because one person decided to be nice to a stranger. He walked out the front door, thanked the same guard, and disappeared into the gray streets of Berlin. The breach was not discovered for months. This operation proved that the human firewall is always the weakest point. Politeness is a security hole that is almost impossible to patch with technology. The ghost operation remains a classic case study in the power of social engineering and the terrifying effectiveness of simple, human-centric psychological tactics in espionage. Technology has advanced exponentially since the days of the Cold War. We have biometrics, AI-driven surveillance, and encrypted networks that protect our most sensitive secrets. But while the tools have changed, the fundamental target remains the same: the human mind. The biological software we run has not been updated for millennia. Modern social engineering has moved from the physical world to the digital one. Phishing, vishing, and spear hacking are just new names for the same old psychological games. The human firewall is still the easiest to crack. A well-crafted email can be just as effective as a fake uniform or a bag of burgers. The weapon of choice is still the same: your fear, your greed, your desire to be helpful, and your innate respect for authority and social norms. An operative's greatest strength is their understanding of you. They know how you think, how you react, and how to push your buttons to get inside. In an era of artificial intelligence, human intelligence is still the ultimate prize. The most valuable secrets are kept behind the eyes of people like you. Be aware of the games being played around you. Security is not just a password, it is a mindset of skepticism and an understanding of your own. The world of espionage is a mirror of our own social interactions. The same techniques used to steal state secrets are used in everyday scams and manipulations. Remember, a human barrier is only as strong as the person standing in front of it. Knowledge of the game is your only true defense against it. The shadows are full of those who know how to talk their way through any door. The question is, will you be the one to open it? Stay vigilant, because in the art of the psychological infiltrate, the most dangerous person in the room is the one you never suspected was even there.